I was amazed by the amount of money spent in what would basically be a reshoot, but now I see that this is a totally different film. I'm amazed by how much it's different. In some ways, due to the fact fans pushed for this to be made, it's more of an event than just a film. If you're familiar with the original Justice League film from only 4 years ago, this is a truly new experience. I assumed Whedon did what he usually did, added a number of very memorable jokes, strong character moments, and emotional story points. As examples, the line, "Save just one person," the Aquaman sitting on the lasso scene, and the appearance of Lois at a key moment. But he either really made a whole different film, or Snyder just came along now and made something far darker and larger than even he was originally going to shoot. And that's a possibility considering what happened in his life after he started filming it. Now, Whedon made much more of a Marvel-feeling film, which isn't bad, and had the wrong starting point to work from after Man of Steel and Superman vs. Batman. Snyder's Justice League is good, actually even better than the Whedon version, but almost purely because of the action moments and consistency of tone. Is anything funny left in the Snyder version? Not really. I think some awkward Flash moments were supposed to be funny, but really aren't, and some stuff like Aquaman sitting Wonder Woman's lasso worked in Whedon's version, and it's funny, so I'm surprised it wasn't kept in. Less surprising to me is the opening scene with Batman and a robber, which set the wrong tone for a film that's going to have a dark Batman in it. Watching it, I know it must be true that Cyborg was really pulled out of Whedon's version. It really did change a huge chunk of the story. No question about that. One thing, though, that Whedon definitely improved upon was the ending of the first fight with the resurrected Superman. I think Snyder started it better with Cyborg's suit attacking Superman, but Snyder had Lois just happily walking by after a brief shot of a pregnancy test, whereas Whedon had Batman thinking several moves ahead and having Lois be used as a Hail Mary solution if Superman did get out of control. And that's a brilliant difference, and one of the few moments showing Batman to be the brains of the team. But is the Snyder Cut a good film on its own? I ask this because it's impossible to watch it and not know about the context, and compare to the initially released version, and be reminded that this was supposed to be laying the groundwork for the next 5 films that I guess now aren't going to happen. This film is more than twice as long and far from twice as good as the theatrical version, and I'm certain the film didn't need to be 4 hours long, and probably 5 to 10 minutes of the Whedon stuff could have fit nicely in here, improving it. And it really needed less slow motion and still more time to explain things. I don't know much more about Mother Boxes in Darkseid now that it's done, and the movie gave me nothing beforehand, and at the end I'm still not sure if I understood enough if I saw it again. I accept we don't need to waste more time learning about Batman, Superman, or Wonder Woman's origins because we should know them from the previous films, but we get Martian Manhunter and Deathstroke appearing with no explanations of who and what they are. The film mentioned things like Flash and time travel that I understood only from the TV show. We get a very odd time reversing scene at the end that feels like the characters know something we don't. There are implied repercussions that don't happen, and I really don't think that's how time travel would work in any sci-fi fictional version. One reviewer I saw talk about this film mentioned how long some exposition scenes seemed here, which I didn't notice at the time, but maybe just because I still don't understand all of it when it's done. There's also a very odd epilogue lasting, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say 20 minutes. These are not fun endings, don't really make sense. They add new characters, but do nothing with them. This is exactly how not to do end credit scenes. These are like trailers for possible future films, totally unnecessary, or at least too long to be what I'd call, what they usually have is like end credit scenes. More amazing to me is the fact the studio must really have thought the fans would make this a huge hit, even though it was not to be released in theaters. There must be a really interesting story about what made them greenlight this that I'd like to hear more about. Now, each film is worth watching. With Snyder's, I'll give it 1 star better. I'm wondering if I'd like Snyder's less, though, if I hadn't seen Whedon's to compare it to. Sort of like I wonder if the director's cut of Blade Runner is as good without the theatrical release that came before it. I'll give it 4 stars if I'm giving Whedon's 3 stars. But that's it.